welcome everyone. My name is Henk Heiser. I'm a senior lecturer, curriculum and learning design at QUT, and I'm in the steering group for the TELedvisors special interest group. We've got a very exciting session planned for this afternoon. It's a postgraduate showcase for PhD students, candidates, with a focus on advisors in the third space. So, you know, the tensions between professional roles, academic roles, and all that entails. Just a brief thing about TELedvisors itself. It's for those of you who haven't been here before. It's a network, it's a community of practitioners made up of people who work as educational technologists, learning designers, academic developers, and in a host of similar roles. So we all kind of work in what can be called the third space. Some of us are in academic roles, some of us are in professional roles, and that's pretty much what today's webinar is about. We'll move on to our next speaker, which is Natalia Veles, Dr. Natalia Veles. In her professional life, Natalia identifies as a third space professional. She combines her work as a college manager at the College of Arts, Society and Education at James Cook University with pursuing her academic research and writing. She spans the boundaries of educational sectors, geography and culture, and she has extensive experience in higher education, vocational education, and international education management. She's worked in strategic leadership positions worldwide, including in Russia, China, New Zealand, and Vietnam. So over to you, Natalia.
Thank you so much, Henk. Can you all hear me? Yeah?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Henk. Well, my doctoral research focused on the university professional and academic staff third space collaboration. And now, as Henk mentioned, I've completed my PhD and I'm combining my multiple identities at James Cook University. So I've created my own personal and professional third space. And I guess despite the incredible challenges of trying to manipulate and stretch time to fit in all my research, writing, and other professional commitments, I am enjoying my third space. It feels right, it challenges my imagination, and it contributes to advancing our university partnership movement. And the partnership enhancement is what I understand as one of the key goals of the TELedvisors network. I was privileged to be introduced to the network in 2017 through my first conversation with Colin Simpson through LinkedIn. And both Colin and I were very interested in the topic of the university third space professionals and how this concept can assist us in our doctoral research and our professional work. And while my research explored the perspectives of all professional staff and their collaboration with academic colleagues, one of my future research ideas points me into the direction of the talented, innovative, and diverse group of third space professionals represented by TELedvisors. And today I will share just selected insights from my doctoral research into third space collaboration. And I would also like to use this opportunity to pose a few questions or provocations, if you like, about how we can imagine the university third space within the future work trend of increasing dislocation of university actors and their work. Well, collaboration, working together is argued to be an optimal way of dealing with the complex and competitive business world. It affords drawing on resources, capabilities, creative energies of individuals to succeed in achieving goals while enhancing the collaborative capital of the organization. And collaborative capital represents the organizational assets that enable people to work together well. It is also a form of social capital, as Bourdieu defined it. It represents the actual and potential resources used in creation of social structures, networks of actors and relations among them within the institution. In my doctoral research, I explored 5 collaborative projects that were completed in one regional university with its campuses in Australia and in Singapore. These projects ranged from increasing the academic research visibility, to commercialization of a particular research solution, to expanding the educational choices for students in one geographical region, and finally to developing a research culture in one international campus. And my doctoral research demonstrated that the success of all 5 projects depended on all staff working together effectively across boundaries of professional identities, organization, and culture. Partnerships were found to be at the core of improving student engagement and success, enhancing the relationship within and outside of the universities, while building on collaborative capital and advantage of cross-boundary teams. And the benefit of collaboration within university research is not devoid of controversies. On the one hand, there are advantages of having diverse human capital in a university. When the strong working relationships between diverse domains are established, people learn from one another's perspectives and expertise. This leads to establishing new and often more sophisticated solutions. But on the other hand, the complexity of collaboration problematizes its benefits. In this sense, collaboration in research represents a boundary between a collective effort and the individual performance measures. This ultimately contradicts the ethics of collaboration. In the context of academic and professional staff's collaboration, as one research participant elaborated, the complexity of professional relationships was interlinked with the question of reciprocity and acknowledgement of contribution of staff who are employed traditionally on different work contracts. And apart from the core skills and expertise required to participate in collaboration, several cross-boundary capabilities were identified by both professional and academic project participants. Those capabilities were translational skills, and this is the ability to communicate with and across multiple different audiences. It's the relationship building between staff and professional groups across culture and geography. Cultural diversity mindset, which is appreciation of an ability to integrate divergent viewpoints of diverse collaborators. It's a global mindset, which is a higher order thinking, as one of my participants described, being mindful of the whole organization and seeing beyond. And finally, it's energy activation. It's a leader's ability to activate staff, help to release their creative energy and nurture it for the benefit of individuals and the organization. And despite differences in cultural expression of basic psychological needs for autonomy, connectedness, and competence, professional staff members both in Australia and Singapore demonstrated their ability to collaborate with academic colleagues. In addressing the project challenges, they were able to develop cross-boundary competences and, using their agency, achieved what Anthony Giddens would call transformative capacity. Collaboration, however, was perceived as simultaneously beneficial and complex. Staff working together encountered many challenges, such as a lack of recognition of staff collaboration, insufficient time and space allocated for staff working together across boundaries, difficulty of locating professional staff with required capabilities for participation in projects, and a misalignment of professional goals among university communities. These challenges are common among the universities in Australia and across the globe, and they are reflective of the contemporary university reward structures that have not been developed that level required of sophistication needed to integrate rewards for collaboration. One research participant presented a vision of an archetypal space in which all university staff had just one goal, and that goal was the ultimate partnership for the common purpose of the sustainable transformation of every individual, student and staff alike. This vision can be achieved if the concept of service is absorbed into a wider notion of partnership between peers who learn from one another. And by endorsing the ideas of genuine collaboration as partnership, we can recognize all actors' efforts in collaboration. We can gradually normalize third space by repositioning it from a liminal space of tension or intention to a space of coherence and accomplishment where people connect and enjoy working together. And this brings me to the final part of my presentation, which leads to 3 questions to consider in the context of continuously game-changing higher education. Professor James Elmborg, in his excellent article about libraries, suggested Third space is often is open, symbolic, playful, and generative. It can also be contested space if power differentials force confrontations between conceptual systems. And yet the possibilities of third space challenge us to reconsider our professional priorities and concepts. The increasing professionalization of staff and the emergence of new services and activities that no longer lend themselves to traditional descriptions of administration or management had commenced well before 2020 global crisis. And it was so aptly described by the authors of the editorial of the International Journal of Academic Development, Henk Heiser, Kwong Nui Sim, and Peter Felton. Fortunately, professionals in our field are experienced with the skill and skilled at navigating shifting and unstable terrain. Academic developers are like the chameleons on a tartan rug, with hybrid identities that allow us to work effectively, if precariously, between cultures and within institutional power dynamics. Recent events have augmented professional, organizational, and imaginary boundary permeability in knowledge organizations like universities. The traditional divisions between academic and professional services have become entirely inadequate. They no longer reflect the reality of contemporary higher education. And the pandemic events have also signaled a new era of the third space professionals, which united all university staff in the face of the crisis, requiring consolidated contributions from all staff with no regard for professional boundaries. The financial crisis is one drastic consequence of the pandemic. It has accelerated the trend of precariousness of higher education talent, contingency of university work, and diminishing rate of job security and sustainability. The future of work in higher education continues to be characterized by intense internal competition for work. This trend may prevent the collaborative partnerships that have flourished during the crisis from developing further and from reaping the full benefit in the future. Facing Australia's continuing national border closure and the further disruption to international student on-campus enrollments, the long-reaching effects of the 2020 financial outcome will see further measures required to maintain the financial sustainability and international reputation of the sector. And finally, technology, which continues to shape the future of work trends, has been a leading force in the during and post-pandemic world. And the role of technology in the proliferation of online education, the automation of the whole components of the educational processes, and the emergence of the new roles such as education engineers becomes increasingly assumed and is no longer perceived as disruption. Technology is being used to address the receding global flows by providing substitution for physical interactions between humans in teaching and research collaboration. And the leading role of Asia, China in particular, in growth of technological innovations holds the higher education leaders in revered apprehension. And it is in the context of these and many other emergent or intensified post-globalized economic and societal changes that I would like to pose these questions and invite further discussions and hopefully new research collaborations. How can university actors mobilize the spatial reimagining of the university staff work configurations and the cross-boundary partnerships? How will technology continue to shape the future of work in higher education in the broader context of dislocated world of work, redefined professional identities, and reconceptualized learning in the interface of human and artificial intelligence? And what should we, university leaders and occupants of the third space environments, do to reignite higher education within the third space of our respective universities? It appears that contemplating possible answers to these questions may help us to rediscover deeper meaning of higher education. And in our knowledge quest to transcend multiple boundaries, leading to further empowerment of selves and to improvement of our relationships through mutual appreciation, genuine curiosity, and enduring respect. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Natalia. That's great. I'm just scrolling back because there was a question by Wendy. We've got time for one question.
Yep.
How do you think some of these aspects would work in other environments that are not higher education? Do you think some of these are transferable to other contexts?
Yes, thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much, Henk and Wendy. That's a great question. I guess that whole notion of the future of work trends and the world of dislocation of work and worker identities, that actually affects many sectors, and higher education is just one, probably mostly affected by COVID in relation to international students, but it is actually transferable to many sectors, community sectors, education. Everywhere you will see that there are obviously the influences of technology, automation of the processes, and looking for other efficient ways, but obviously affecting staff and workers to maximize the benefits of the production, I guess, environment. That's obviously the technological revolution on steroids, and it continues to be defining our life that we live in. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Natalia. And thanks again. That was a great presentation.